All right, diving in today, and we're going to tackle something where, honestly, knowing the specifics can really make or break things. We're talking about planning a pro-hormone cycle.
Yeah, we got a lot of info here that points to some pretty key steps folks tend to kind of gloss over. And skipping these things can, well, throw a wrench in the whole process. And of course, potentially mess with your health too.
Yeah, definitely. So today, I guess our aim is pretty clear, to give everyone listening that solid understanding so they can approach this whole thing with, more knowledge and a bit less risk.
Exactly. Think of it as a crash course in dodging those common pitfalls. Now, we're not going to get into whether using prohormones is a good idea or not. We're really here to dig into those often overlooked parts directly from what we've got here so that you can, make choices you feel good about.
Okay, cool. So right off the bat, it seems like, and this might sound basic, but just not properly researching the specific prohormone you're thinking of using, that seems to be a really common mistake. Kind of like setting off on a hike without even glancing at the map?
That's a great way to put it. This lack of specific research, it really jumps out from the material. Like, prohormones aren't all created equal, right? They're different in how strong they are, how they affect your body, and most importantly, the potential side effects and the realistic results you can expect. So understanding these individual characteristics, it's not just a good idea, it's crucial. You really got to know what you're messing with.
Right. Like you can't just assume all supplements do the same thing, obviously. So beyond just knowing it's a prohormone, what are some specific details someone should be like really digging into?
Okay, so the big things are, first, the potency. Like, how strong is this thing likely to be? What kind of gains do people usually see with it? Then, the potential side effects. That's non-negotiable. What are the common bad reactions linked to the specific compound? And finally, what outcomes do people typically experience? This info will guide everything from how much you take to, like, what kind of support you might need. Bottom line is, know your compound like the back of your hand before you even think about starting.
Gotcha. So yeah, become a pro-hormone detective. Okay, so the next thing our material highlights is on-cycle support. Sounds important, but maybe a bit technical. What exactly is it, and why do so many people seem to miss this step?
Right, so on-cycle support basically means using specific supplements during your cycle to, like, help minimize any negative impacts on your body. The stuff we've got here suggests that prohormones can really stress systems like your liver, your heart health, think blood pressure, cholesterol, and even your prostate. And yeah, lots of people just completely overlook this. They get tunnel vision on potential muscle gains and forget about the potential strain on their insides.
It's like having a pit crew for your body while it's under all this pressure.
Yeah, exactly. Think of it this way. You wouldn't push your car engine hard without making sure it's got enough oil, right? On-cycle sport's kind of similar. We're talking about supplements that support liver health, help with detoxification as your liver processes these compounds. Then there's stuff for maintaining healthy blood pressure, keeping those cholesterol levels in check, and even supplements specifically for prostate health.
The big takeaway here is don't just focus on your put. Pay attention to protecting your body during the process, too.
Makes sense. And what about the consequences of ignoring all that support? Can't be good, right? Yeah, the info's pretty clear on this. Neglecting on-cycle support makes side effects way more likely and can make them a lot worse. It's not just risky during your cycle, it can have long-term consequences too. It's really just fundamental to a responsible approach. And hey, by the way, if anyone's interested in diving deeper into this stuff, or if you're looking to order stacks, check out the website publichealthlaw.best. They've got bulking stacks, cutting stacks, strength stacks, you name it. So yeah, visit publichealthlaw.best for max results.
Right. Okay. So you've done your research, you're taking care of your body during the cycle. What's the next critical phase?
The next crucial phase is post-cycle therapy, or PCT for short.
PCT. Yeah. Sounds like cooling down after a hard workout.
That's actually a great way to think about it. PCT is super important for helping your body recover and get its natural hormone production back on track after a prohormone cycle. See, during a cycle, your body's own testosterone production often gets suppressed. PCT is all about helping that system come back online.
Interesting. So what happens if someone just like skips PCT, they finish their cycle, they feel done, but what's happening internally?
Well, unfortunately, without proper PCT, you're running a big risk of throwing your hormones out of whack. This can lead to losing the gains you made, feeling tired all the time, experiencing a drop in libido, and other things you probably don't want. Your body really needs help getting those hormones back in balance. So the key with PCT is help your hormones recover so you can keep your gains and your energy levels up.
So it's all about restoring that hormonal equilibrium. What does PCT usually involve, practically speaking?
Often it means using specific supplements that give your body a nudge to start making testosterone naturally again. Sometimes people might also use prescription meds. But the exact supplements and how long you need them will depend on the specific prohormone you used and how long your cycle was. This is another area where really thorough research is key.
Gotcha. Makes sense. So we're building a picture here. Research first, support during, and then recover afterward with PCT. Now, something else our info highlights that people might not think is so important when using prohormones is, surprisingly, diet and training.
Yeah, this is a really common misconception. Prohormones, they're enhancers. They're not magic, right? They don't build muscle out of thin air. Ignoring diet and training is like having a Ferrari but never putting gas in it or taking it out for a spin. You're not going to get very far.
Right, makes sense.
The material we have states very clearly that without enough calories and protein, your body just won't have the building blocks it needs to make new muscle, no matter what else you're taking. Prohormones basically amplify your effort. They don't replace it.
Makes sense. Can't build a wall without bricks. And what
Yeah.
about the training aspect?
Training is important because consistent, challenging workouts are what tell your body to build muscle. The prohormone just helps make that signal stronger, makes your workouts more effective. But if you're not putting in the work, you're missing out on the prohormone's potential. And actually, keeping up a good diet and training routine after your cycle is vital for keeping those gains and avoiding putting on too much fat.
Okay, so it's the whole picture. The prohormone is just one piece, and the other pieces, nutrition and exercise, are just as important both during and after. All right, let's talk dosage and cycle length. It seems like there's this temptation to go all out, but what we've got here suggests that's probably not the best idea.
Oh yeah, for sure. Wanting faster, more noticeable results can lead people to start with doses that are way too high or to keep their cycles going for too long. But the info we've got really advises against that.
Hmm.
Starting with high doses ramps up the risk of side effects, and they can be way more severe. It's like throwing your body a huge curveball, and its natural systems can get overwhelmed.
Interesting. And what about those longer cycles? What are the potential downsides there?
Well, extending a cycle means keeping your natural hormones suppressed for longer, and it puts constant strain on your organs, especially your liver. This can lead to worse side effects, a harder and longer recovery with PCT, and even the possibility of long-term health issues. The recommendation is pretty clear, especially for first-timers. Start with lower doses and shorter cycles. See how your body reacts and minimize the risks.
That sounds like really solid advice. Start cautiously, pay attention to your body. Which brings us to another crucial point, individual variability. This isn't one size fits all, right?
Definitely not. The information really stresses that people respond to prohormones in wildly different ways. And this is because of a bunch of factors like your genetics, your body's unique makeup, your lifestyle, and your overall health. Things like your age, any health conditions you already have, your diet, how intensely you train, even your stress levels. All of that can influence how your body responds. So what works for one person might not work for you, and it could even be harmful.
So just because, like, your buddy had a certain experience doesn't mean you'll have the same one, and it could even be risky to copy their exact plan.
Exactly. A dose and cycle length that one person handles fine could cause serious side effects in someone else. This is why paying attention to your own body, watching out for any negative effects, and being ready to adjust your cycle or PCT is so important. A cookie-cutter approach just isn't a good idea here.
Makes a lot of sense. Really emphasizes that you need to be in tune with your own body, not just follow some random advice you find online.
Okay, before we wrap up the main points, our material briefly mentions some legal and ethical considerations too.
Yeah, that's definitely worth mentioning. The legal status of prohormones, it's a bit of a mixed bag. It really depends on where you are in the world. Some might be controlled substances, others might be completely banned. So knowing the laws in your specific location, that's essential before you even think about buying or using them. Good point. All right, so to quickly recap, we talked about the importance of really digging into research on the specific prohormone you're considering, the need for on-cycle support, which is often forgotten, the crucial role of PCT, how vital diet and training are, the wisdom of starting low and slow with your dosage and cycle length, and the fact that everyone's body reacts differently. That's a lot to take in.
It is, but it's all really important for a safer, more effective experience if someone decides to go this route.
Okay, so as we wrap up this deep dive, I think the big takeaway is that Careful planning and really understanding all these elements are just absolutely fundamental for a safer, more effective experience with prohormones. It's not something to jump into lightly.
Couldn't agree more. We really encourage everyone to take these insights and apply them to their own research and decision making. Informed choices are always the best choices, especially when it comes to your health and well-being.
Here's a final thought for everyone to ponder. Given all the complexities and the huge range of individual responses, what does truly informed decision making really look like in areas where personal variability plays such a huge role? It's a question worth thinking about. And hey, once again, if you're interested in more content like this or you're ready to check out some stacks, visit publichealthlaw.best. They've got everything you need, from bulking to cutting to strength stacks. So head to publichealthlaw.best for maximum results.
Definitely.
Disclaimer: the content of our podcast is for informational and entertainment purposes only.